Program screen. The program screen is where you program the ZonePRO device. Just double left-click on the ZonePRO icon to open the program screen. These modules on your left are the input stage processing. The modules to the right are the output stage processing. Don't think of the signal flow as flowing straight across these lines, from left to right. That's not always the case. Think of these more as input and output stage processing, with the ability to route an input to an output, and in some models, mix multiple inputs to an output. On your input side, you have your in or input processing module. This is where your input gain adjustment and high-pass filter reside. Next, you have your input parametric EQ. This is used to make an input source's frequency response more pleasing. Next is your input insert 1 and your input insert 2. You can select what type of processing you want assigned to these input inserts. We'll talk more about this in later training modules. On your output side, you have your mid-mixer or mid-router. This is where you assign an input to an output, or in some models, mix multiple inputs to an output, and set your priority and page ducking parameters. Next is the auto warmth. This allows a base frequency boost to be applied when the signal drops below a certain level. This type of processing is based on the Fletcher-Munson loudness contour curves. Basically, it prevents the signal from sounding thin at lower volumes. Next is the bandpass filter. This allows you to restrict certain frequencies from being fed to a driver or speaker. This works great for restricting low frequencies from going to ceiling speakers and for implementing subwoofers into the system. Next is your output parametric EQ. This EQ allows you to independently EQ each zone to make each one sound its best. Next is your output insert. This is where you can select what type of dynamics processing you'd like to use for each output. We'll talk more about these different types of dynamics processing modules in later training modules. Next is your output delay. These are used for time aligning drivers or zones. Lastly is your output module. This processing module allows you to invert the polarity for each output to ensure proper phase response. Let's take a look at the menus at the top of the program screen. The File menu allows you to open and save program files, or close the program screen. The Edit menu allows you to copy and paste entire processing module parameters between like processing modules. Here, you can also manually adjust the time and date. The Scene menu allows you to store and recall scenes. The Wizard menu allows you to enter the different wizards. These wizards are where you will do most of your programming. The Help menu allows you to retrieve information on the hardware, locate or identify a ZonePRO in a network of ZonePROs by making the front panel display blink, and get information on the currently installed version of ZonePRO Designer. Any of the processing modules within the program screen can be opened by simply double left-clicking on the icon. Introduced in ZonePRO Designer version 3.0, the processing modules which have on-off capabilities will be highlighted green when they are turned on. This gives you a quick visual indication on which processing modules are turned on or off. The Meters button activates or deactivates the meters. The Store Scenes button allows you to store scenes, and the Recall Scene button allows you to recall stored scenes.